This time on distant shores, we're in the north of France, waiting for weather to cross the notorious Bay of Biscay and head past Cape Finisterre, watching out for orca whales and dolphins on our way south to Lisbon.
We're Cheryl and Paul Shard, hosts of the Distant Shores Sailing Adventure TV series. We've been sailing and living aboard for 35 years, documenting the sailing lifestyle. Join us as we begin the next chapter of global voyaging on our new Inksail Orion 49.
Doing some splicing. We are here in Camaret-sur-Mer on the north coast of France, just waiting out some weather. Hopefully we got 2 more days and then we should have a nice window to cross the Bay of Biscay. We've sailed down from England, from the south coast of England across the English Channel, and we've come here to the coast of Brest, which is Camaret-sur-Mer, about 120 miles bagged already in the down south. So next we're going to wait for a little bit of a weather window in hopefully a couple of days, and we can head on down to Spain. Splicing is a fun skill to have, and it's very useful. In this case, this is a Dyneema eye splice. I'm just thinning it down before burying the last part of the rope line inside the core for the splice, and it is a good skill to have.
Come on in. Wow, the baguettes have arrived.
How many crew are we expecting?
Joining us on this leg of our voyage are Noel and Tracy, who have sailed offshore with us on other occasions. Tracy is a chapter leader in Slow Food, a global network that advocates for good, clean, and fair food for all. Needless to say, she's a really good cook. I always have fun working in the galley with her, so while waiting for weather in Camaret-sur-Mer, we do a lot of meal prep for what could be a 6-day passage if we go straight through to Lisbon, Portugal. On the first few days, we'll be crossing the Bay of Biscay, which can at times get quite rough. So it's nice to have food prepared ahead of time to reduce time in the galley if conditions get uncomfortable offshore.
Welcome to the first day at sea on our crossing of the Bay of Biscay. We had a few days in cute little Camaret-sur-Mer. It's a really convenient port on this corner of the coast, as you're already basically out to sea. And it has a really good little chandlery and a historic old place, a very nice spot for a few days waiting out for the weather. To start with, we've got some comms. That'll get us some miles south, getting to be the end of October, and it's time to make some tracks southward. Storms become much more frequent in Biscay by the end of October, but we have a calm window to cross before it switches to headwinds. Then just a few minutes later, I see a dolphin up at the bow. Or 3 dolphins. There are often more than you think. I always have fun teaching our crew celestial navigation. Throw a comment below if you'd like to learn more. You see the sun? So can you see that the sun is not quite, like if you wanted to think of it as lying on top of the horizon with just the lower part of the sun.
Yeah.
So then you can adjust that vernier thing at the bottom. Parts of the shallow continental shelf extend far into the Bay of Biscay, resulting in waters just 100 meters deep, even when we're over 1/3 of our way across.
Have a good watch. Thank you.
Heavy storms occur in the bay starting this time of year, and when big seas roll into the shallows, waves can be extra large. We waited for a weather window with following winds. Nevertheless, winds are building up by our 3rd day on the bay. Well, we've just finished crossing the Bay of Biscay. Arriving here on the north coast of Spain, we decided to pull in for a couple of days after the bay crossing, wait for the winds to drop down a bit, and go around Cape Finisterre and head on to Portugal. This is the Tower of Hercules. It was built in the 1st century and is the oldest known Roman lighthouse. Romans came to this northwestern corner of Spain in the 2nd century BCE, and Julius Caesar himself visited in 62 BC. There's a nice marina right downtown, and it's a great pleasure to wander at Coruña's historic town centre. What a gorgeous day. We're leaving La Coruña. This is the port that's right in the town. You can see right in the city square. And it's been a great little stop, a beautiful spot. We've got a nice day's worth of light to get around Cape Finisterre. That's the goal today. Cape Finisterre is a tough cape to get around. And if the wind is really strong, the seas are bigger around there. And then also nowadays you've got the chance of meeting orca whales too. So hopefully there won't be any orcas around the corner. Well, recently orcas have been attacking yachts, grabbing their rudders and playing with them. No one's really sure what they're doing or why, except that a few boats have been sunk, so it's a bit of a danger these days. We finally get around Finisterre. It's a lot nicer today than it was 2 days ago. The wind's down and the seas have fallen away. And then we got, I think, another 280 or something miles on to Cascais and Lisboa. Looks like good fishing in the area. We're seeing birds and dolphins both working one big school of fish, diving down from above and catching them from below. Well, it's another day in this Orca area. We're still in the area where there's been recent Orca interactions with boats, or incidents, or interactions, or whatever they want to call them. There have been a few in the last month, and we're trying to stay safe as we can. We're also looking at what options there are to do. So one of the things that they recommended for the Orcas is to stay within the 20-meter contour, which would mean it's only less than 60 feet deep. We've considered that, but it's really not practical where there's lots of rocks, and it's also not going to be practical here where it'll bring us so close that there'll be fish traps and we might get lobster pots wrapped in the propeller. So you got to make the decision of which one you're going to go for. I think we're going to head a little further offshore. If we get about 15 miles offshore, then we're into water that's over 100 meters deep, and hopefully there'll be less fish traps. We still haven't seen any orcas. We've seen tons of dolphins swimming. The dolphins have been just fabulous. They just cheer you up so much to see a whole group of 40 or 50 dolphins come and swim around the boat. And we've had a lot of those. The scenery's been nice, and it's been quite calm. So this is been a very relaxing passage, and just enjoying being out here. This is the first time we've flown the Code Zero at night. Look at her. She's gorgeous. This is just the deck floodlight we put on just to help us set the sail and see what she's looking like. So we've got about 100 miles to go to Lisbon. It's a perfect looking night with an offshore breeze, about 9 to 12 knots of wind. We're about, I guess, 12 miles offshore. There's some ships passing us this evening, and we've had a bunch of dolphins swimming around the boat too. It's just gorgeous. Oh my goodness. The wind is warmer tonight also. When we were further north, it's been cool, but as we've been getting south, the temperature's warmed up. And this is probably the prettiest sail that we've had in this journey so far. The seas are down and the wind is just picked up enough from the glassy calm we had earlier. We should arrive in Cascais, Lisbon tomorrow, and that'll be the end of our big trip from the builder's yard up in Macam all the way down to Portugal and get ready to position to start off across the Atlantic Ocean.
From Portugal, we'll be sailing to the Canary Islands, then Cape Verde, from where we'll make a transatlantic crossing to the Caribbean for a winter of island hopping in the tropics. Want to join us? Whether you're looking for an escape from winter in the sunny south, a memorable gift for someone special in your life, or a chance to build your sailing skills with us to guide you, be sure to check out our Sail Away Week schedule on the Distant Shores website or in the description below. We look forward to welcoming you aboard.
And if you haven't yet subscribed to our channel, we invite you to do so now so you don't miss a single episode of Distant Shores. See you next time.